and welcome to AGWN Voices. I'm your host, Emily Marola, and I'm thrilled to have you join us today. This podcast is dedicated to celebrating the incredible talent within Assurex Global, sharing their stories, insights, and wisdom to empower and inspire across our industry and beyond. Each episode, we'll be talking to women who are making a difference, leading with passion, and driving change. Whether you're looking for career advice, leadership tips, or just a dose of inspiration, you've come to the right place. So let's dive in and meet today's inspiring guest. Jessica Jung is the president of Oswald Companies and is responsible for the oversight of all business units. She has been in the insurance industry for more than 25 years in various underwriting and leadership roles. Jess's experience in various areas of the insurance industry make her uniquely qualified to lead innovative strategic initiatives and add differentiated value to the clients and employee owners who she passionately serves. Welcome, Jess. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Emily. Appreciate you having me.
I love how you mentioned earlier about sales, just the simple word of sales and just the intimidation behind it, and how if we look at it a little differently and reframe it to solving a problem, being a problem solution, helper, that really does kind of change the whole landscape. And can you just speak a little bit about just that thought process there and maybe how that's being applied at Oswald within the sales talent?
Yeah, sure. So we spent a lot of time talking about this. Sometimes I wish I could just take the word sales out of the dictionary because man or woman, I think it has a connotation to it, it has a perception to it, and that perception isn't always reality. And we spent a lot of time here. We have a women's leadership council, and we started to tackle the question of why don't we have more women in sales? And so we actually had like a subcommittee of our women's leadership council start to tackle that. And it was just eye-opening. And when you ask questions, there's no right or wrong answer. This is about how people feel, how you perceive something, what might be your roadblocks that get in your way. And so we learned a lot from just listening to how women feel about it, and men, frankly. And a lot of perceptions that you realize they truly are perceptions. There's a tremendous opportunity to unpack that and dig in and understand it. There was so much opportunity to create awareness and education around what really is it. Let's unpack what we do. What does it take to be successful? It's not about being a salesperson and selling. It's about being consultative, having emotional intelligence, figuring out what people need, listening, understanding so that you could help them solve a problem. It's more about helping than anything. And if you do that in a way that connects with people and you're genuine, then you end up selling something. But you're really selling your ability to help. And so I think when we get into that conversation and those who maybe didn't really get it, realize that, it's like, oh my God, I'm so good at that. And yet I've just assumed that I'm not good enough to be in sales. So I think you make progress by creating better awareness and genuine conversation about what it takes to be good. And then, we stumbled across things like, well, I'm the breadwinner and I don't understand how they get paid. I don't understand. There's a lot of, I don't understand. How do you get paid? I can't rely. I need security and all of those things. And there's lots of ways to have that in the sales world too. So I think the awareness and the education and just communication around it has helped us quite a bit. And it's also helped men that are in sales realize that there's a lot of skills that women, I think men and women have skills that make you successful in sales. I think sometimes there's women tend to be known to be great listeners and high on empathy and emotional intelligence and things like that. Those are key critical skill sets or skills to be successful in sales. And we have leaned on each other more than we ever have. And a lot of learning and awareness came out of that. And I think it's very cool. So you don't change that overnight, right? But that's a little bit of a cultural shift that you just keep feeding and sharing successes and learnings and you keep evolving. And that's what we're doing.
Do you consider yourself a saleswoman?
I do. We're all in the sales
Yeah.
job when you're on this side of the business, right? And so
Yes.
I listen, I help, I drive outcomes with our people directly. I have my own clients that I'm the producer for simply because I had a relationship, they had a problem, I'm helping lead a team to solve the problem. It's
Yep.
fun stuff. So
Yep.
yeah, I'm a salesperson, but boy, do I love getting my hands dirty and driving an outcome and making a client feel amazing. Our
Yep.
job is to just drive a cool, unique client experience that they can't get anywhere else. That is that favorite way to spend my time.
I love that.
Awesome.
Some of your values are seeping through some of the things that you're saying here, Jess. I love that. So, what advice would you have for a woman considering entering sales? And how have your unique experiences and perspectives influenced your approach to achieving success in your career?
So I would say first, really be honest with yourself about what, if any, roadblocks exist in your mind.
Mm,
There's no right or wrong answer. I think being successful at anything
mm,
is recognizing what are the things it takes to be successful. Are you a person who genuinely has some of those skills and or has the desire to do those things? I'm a big person of like, how do you want to spend your time? That's a question I ask people when I interview them. It's a question I ask people that are on our team. If they're thinking about a change, it all comes down to, when you had a really good day and you reflect on that and you feel like $1 million and you think to yourself, what did I do today? How was I spending my time? When people can describe the things that make them feel that way, and
mm.
it aligns with what it takes to be successful, specifically in sales, then you kind of have a right fit. And I think
Yep.
that people just have to be genuinely honest with themselves about what they want and why they want it. In some of the learnings that I've told you that we've learned as a team at Oswald, it's the forget about the word sales, kill it. Talk
Yep.
about what it really is. Talk about, picture yourself being successful. I'm a huge vision person. What is the vision of ideal state? And if you can describe that and you want to get there, then it's easy to reverse engineer your way there once you have a vision. And then you can also say, and
Yes.
by the way, where do I need to get by with a little help from my friends? Where do I need a mentor or a sponsor to help support me in some of those areas? Nobody comes
Yes.
pre-programmed. We don't hand out
Yes.
reference manuals for this stuff. It takes a village. And I seek mentorship, seek sponsorship, seek feedback, be open-minded on areas and things you could do to get better. Be willing to challenge yourself. Most importantly, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. I say that to everybody. I know I
Oh,
kind of overuse it at this point, but I tell everyone I am uncomfortable in some way, shape, or form every day. And
yep.
I've gotten so comfortable with that because that means you're growing. And
Yes. I
there
love
is
that.
no
Yes.
finish line. Like there
Yep.
is no finish line. So
Yep.
if you can kind of recognize that and have fun with it, like, gosh, I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm going to give it my best. I'm going with my God. I'm genuinely intended, all of those things. The rest just sort of takes care of itself if you check your
Yeah.
ego at the door and you're just trying to solve problems with good people. So be aware, be honest with yourself. Don't try to be something you're genuinely not. Seek help, be open minded. And I think the rest takes care of itself. Don't find your confidence, right? And I
Yep.
think you
Yep.
find your confidence by doing all of the things that I was just sort of listing. Um, your confidence is there, and don't let anybody tell you it's not, right? There's no reason why you can't let it show. There's a difference between being cocky and confident. And confidence, I think, it's inside of all of us. And I think a lot of those things just sort of help bring it out, but be authentic, and all of that will come.
And you had mentioned something about Dave earlier in this call, and you had just like, I think the encouragement and the mentorship that he had for you. And we all need those people. We need those cheerleaders who recognize stuff in us and the successes and encourage us, speak life into us. So I love that you mentioned like seek out help, seek out people who are going to be your next mentor. If you're in a position financially to seek out a coach, seek out a coach. It's been the
Yeah.
best experience of my life
Yeah.
recently for me to go through that process. So Here is my question for you. If you were to get to pick one mentor or coach for the next 12 months, who in the whole world would that person be?
Wow. Specifically the person.
Yeah,
Oh gosh,
we're
that's a
putting
tough
it
question.
out there, girl. It could happen.
So here's what I would say. I got to really think about the exact person, but somebody who I find a lot of value in somebody outside who doesn't even have to be in our industry.
Yeah.
That can kind of look as an outside. I love fresh eyes, right? But I love leadership. I value a lot of things about leadership. So somebody that has extensive leadership experience, but in a diverse leadership experience, who could sort of look at me from the outside in and ask the right questions and inspire me to continue to just broaden my horizons and scope and of the way I think and all things. I think somebody like that. So maybe it's
Yep.
somebody famous that I'm totally intimidated and uncomfortable talking
We're
to.
putting it
Somebody
out
like
there.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're going to call you next week. I know it's going to happen just simply from this interaction. Well, thank you so much, Jess. This has been super fun. And
Thank
this
you.
brings
This
us
is
to
fast.
another end of an inspiring episode of AGWN Voices. I hope you found our conversation as enlightening and motivating as I did. Remember, the stories we share and the connections we make here are all about empowering each other to reach new heights. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review. Your feedback helps us continue to bring you the voices and stories that matter most. Stay tuned for our next episode, and until then, stay fabulous, my beautiful friends. Keep inspiring and make us proud.